Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Well, hi. Guess what? It's Tuesday. It's Transformational Tip Tuesday, and you are here. So glad you're here. Sandy's in the house. Catherine, Alice, and Jocelyn, everyone's here. You know what that means? We're going to have a big party. Well, maybe not a big party, but we're going to talk about some things. This week, we're kind of getting back to basics. We talked about the basics of motivation and some of the things that we didn't even think about that really need to be in place so that we can be motivated. And it really kind of boils down, doesn't it? Does it not? To a lot of noticing about certain things. I love that word, noticing. So there's that. And today we're talking about transformation and getting into the mechanics and some little known stuff about transformation and what needs to be in place first before transformation can happen. So Tanya, welcome. I'm glad you're here. This week's special, of course, is LeptaFix. I spoke a little bit about it yesterday, but just know that if you are finding yourself with a little bit of weight loss resistance, you might have some broken leptin. It's common. It happens. Leptin is the hunger hormone that absolutely 100% makes sure that your appetite is in check. A rampant runaway appetite means that your leptin's broken. Now, leptin lives in your fat. Did you know that? That's where that hormone lives. It lives in your fat, especially your belly fat. So as we start to maybe reduce down a little bit and start losing that fat, right? Guess what happens? Your leptin breaks. Your leptin breaks, and all of a sudden you find yourself hungry and everything. And this is why people go, tried doing all this and I found myself starving. And that's why it's really important to bump up the protein and the fiber, by the way. Add a little fat to add that satiating component, and it makes a big difference. But in the meantime, LeptaFix can really help with that. The ingredients in this all helps you to put the leptin back together again. It's like Humpty Dumpty. I love that. Mo's in the house, so's Debbie. Good to have you here, both of you. Thank you for joining us today. So if you want LeptaFix, strong suggestion, you go to savingdinner.com/show. That's where you're going to find this. And I'm going to give you another really good thing. If you get these 4 bottles of LeptaFix, remember, you're only going to be paying for 3. You're going to have a year's supply because you only take, 1 capsule in the morning, and it's 120 capsules. So yeah, 3 months. It's a really screaming great deal. Go grab your LeptaFix today while you can. Got a special deal on that. All right, that's one thing. And the other thing too is I just want to invite you into the place of really trying out our Ultimate Sprint. Again, we have that. Go look at the page that's just dedicated to the whole thing. That's at savingdinner.com/us if you would like to go ahead and get going on that. Our first foray into the Ultimate Sprint was just ended last week. But it's going to be coming up again. We're going to have it probably in another couple of months. You can do it by yourself. You can go and do it in our group. You can just say, hey, I need some help with this. There's a lot of people there who've done it, who understand. So check it out. Our quote of the week, something I said. Apparently somebody wrote this down and said, this is going to be a quote. And I said, okay, let's do it. But my quote was, you don't have to feel like it. You just have to do it. It sounds like something I would say. It sounds like something I said to my kids when they were little. You ever say that to your kids? Come on. Of course you did. We have to say that to our kids because we have to teach them that it isn't always about what it is that you want to do, is it? Have you noticed that there's a lot of things in this life we just plain don't want to do? I don't know about you. I don't want to clean toilets. I don't want to have to run errands, and I don't want to, boy, I could fill in a few blanks for you. This morning, when it was time to go to the gym, I did not want to go to the gym. I did not want to do my program. I did not want to put on my clothes and go. I did anyway. So, what about you? Think about the things that you do anyway, even though you don't feel like doing it. Give yourself a big high five, because these are the things that move the needles in our lives. These are the things that make us more resilient and really show up for the things that are important in our lives. Isn't that so true? It's really true. All right, so today we're going to, what is today? Tuesday, Transformational Tip Tuesday. Well, transformation, have we really thought about what transformation is? Have we really gotten into the nuts and bolts of what transformation is? Well, here's what the dictionary says transformation is. You ready? An extreme radical change. Extreme radical change. But the dictionary also defines it as thorough, dramatic change in appearance or form. Now, we see this in nature all the time. We see it looking outside and observing the seasons. I was saying this as driving home from the gym, and I was looking out and seeing all of this green, 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 green. You know, that pretty baby green that comes out in the spring with all those brand new leaves. And I said, well, here it all is. It's almost like winter never happened. And yet there it is. Huge green leaves everywhere. And it's so pretty. And there you are. That's a transformation of what those trees looked like just 2 weeks ago. We see it in the morning sky as the dawn breaks and cracks open the dark. And you see just the light completely transforming the sky. We see it as a baby chick is born and becomes a rooster in a few short weeks. We see it as a butterfly, of course, goes from that little chrysalis and into a glorious butterfly. We see transformation all the time in front of us. Sometimes we just take it for granted, like this is just what happens. This is just how it flows. But transformation in and of itself, especially a decided transformation, as a transformation that was predicated on a decision that you made for yourself to completely transform your strength or your body or your the way you eat or your thoughts or whatever it is that you're wanting to transform in your life. When we have that notion that we're going to transform something, this is the moment of decision is when things really start to change, right? Not just instantly, but in a way that makes us say, I do want to do things differently. What do I need to do here? And lest we get hung up on the house, I want to talk about some of the pre-work that needs to be done on the path to transformation and 5 things to consider as maybe you're saying, I have some things that I want to transform. I want some things in my life to be radically and extremely changed. Amen? Right? I mean, you're my girls. Pinkies up on that one. Of course there is. There's always something. I've been going through this, why I created the Ultimate Sprint. I want to radically change my muscle profile on my body because I recognize and know that the more muscle I have, the stronger I'm going to get. In a couple of short weeks, I'm turning 65. I'm going to have a Medicare card. I am a senior citizen, right? Well, I've made a decision about what I want my senior citizenship to look like. And it doesn't look like anything with walkers or wheelchairs or being stooped over or any of that. And so there's a radical, extreme change afoot. And I'm all over it, all on top of it. And I've lifted weights for a number of years, but now I'm very, very dedicated and not missing a beat and staying the course and I have a whole course that I'm doing. It's on my phone and I do it in the gym. So let's talk about what those extreme radical change things can be and what needs to be in place so that you can experience this change, especially if you've made this decision of transformation. This decision of transformation. All right, you ready? The first one is the acceptance for the need for change. Now, oftentimes this happens when you're sitting across the desk from a doctor who says, I'm sorry, but you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, or I'm sorry, but you have XYZ diagnosis, or I'm sorry, but this is what's going on and this is what you can expect. I have been there, my friends. You know, when I had the Hashimoto's diagnosis and was told all about that and told there's nothing that they can do about it and that it's only going to get worse and get used to it and shut up and put up, basically, you know, I did a number of different things because I made a decision, an extreme, radical decision that I'm not going to go the course of that disease. No, that was number one. And number two, I also made the decision that I was going to do anything in my power to completely disrupt it. And so I did, right? And this is what we do. It requires a deep understanding of your current situation and the challenges that need to be addressed and what comes next. And we make that decision based oftentimes from the pressure of getting a diagnosis we didn't want. And you know what? That's cool. But why do we have to get to that point? You know, for me, with Hashimoto's, I had to get to that point. I had to finally have somebody say, hey, things aren't going well for you and it's going to get ugly. You know, what do you want to do? Give up, or you want to fight your way out of it? And I chose fight. Who else is with me on that, right? Hi, Jerry. Nice to see you. Number two is you have to have a clarity of purpose. You have to have a vision for what it is that you want in your life. You can't get direction and you can't get a sense of purpose if you don't have this. So you have to define this vision for yourself too. I can't do it for you. You have to define exactly what it is that you want. This is how this whole thing works. This is how we change the whole trajectory of our lives when we see the vision. If it doesn't meet the standard of what our vision is, we have the ability to take it off the list, right? Delete, hit the delete key, edit, make it change. That is part of the whole clarity of purpose and the whole clarity of vision. Is if it doesn't fit the picture, you'll know. It's kind of like, you know, have you ever had a puzzle, put together a puzzle and there was a piece there, it just didn't fit? And finally you figured out, wait, this came from another puzzle. This isn't even the same puzzle. We have those moments oftentimes when we're extraordinarily clear on what it is that we want. That's really important. Number three is the alignment of values and cultures, by the way. We create our own culture, by the way. When we're talking about culture, I'm not talking about, you know, what your grandparents did or, you know, that you ate cabbage rolls and you know, pierogies. That's my husband's family, they're Polish, you know, so that's like a huge deal. I'm not talking about that kind of culture or languages or customs or anything like that. I'm talking about the kind of culture that you create for yourself to support the kind of life that you want, your vision of vibrancy, for your path of purpose, and for your path ultimately of transformation, because that's usually what is required to get to that path of purpose. Is you need to make that transformational journey, right? That's how it happens. So oftentimes you have to have a shift in mindset for this, and your behavior across the board needs to change as well. And number four is the availability of resources. Let me just emphasize one thing. Without resources, we're basically a carpenter without his toolbox. We have to have resources. We have to have a gym with heavy weights to lift up or what have you. We don't necessarily have to have a gym. We just have to have the weights to, there's your tool right there, the weights, right? We have to have the different tools at our disposal. If we're trying to work on a mindset, what do we need to do? We need to understand the importance of having a meditative practice. We need to understand the importance of journaling. We need to understand the importance of setting amazing goals and then finding your way daily to write them all down, right? We do that with Take Back Your Life Journal. You know, I've shared that a million times. But that was the needle mover for me, was first of all, shortening up my goals to be less than a year, make them 12 weeks so that I could really see some progress and be on top of it and not just forget about it. And secondarily is to take those goals and create sentences out of them that were affirmative, intentional sentences starting with I am. And when we do this, we're creating and scripting out our goals for ourselves every single day. You write those goals out. You are changing your mind, literally changing your mind, and you're writing it out as you do. It's powerful stuff. And that is a resource. That is something that you can use. We have things at our fingertips if only we avail ourselves to them, right? And number 5 is your commitment to the whole process of transformation. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. There are times you're not going to want to do it. I just told you. I have the hot pink leggings on today. I did not want to put on those hot pink leggings. They were a little bit tight. They are a size small. But you know what? I said, I'm going to wear them today. I'm going to wear them. By gosh, golly, darn, gee whiz, I am going to wear them. You know why? Because they remind me of where I used to be, because I've had these on my shelf for years and couldn't wear them. And here I am, yeah, a little bit tight putting them on, but they made a difference. Showed up in the gym, did my thing anyway, even though I didn't want to. And I will tell you, it is the commitment to the process and the perseverance and staying the course with consistency that makes the change. That's the reason I have these hot pink leggings on in the first place, right? It's the reason why. So you have to be prepared to overcome these obstacles. You have to be prepared that you're going to do what it takes to stay the course. There is always going to be a setback. There's always going to be some kind of resistance. There's always going to be something that gets in their way, an inopportune phone call, you name it. But the fact is, if you are committed to this whole path of transformation, then you have to know that this, and be ready that this stuff's going to come up, but you have the opportunity to shift at any time and get on that path to vibrancy and start making those changes slowly but surely and consistently, persevering all the way to the end. Because you know what? At the end of the day, your vibrancy is worth it. Living in full bloom is worth it. And that goal that you set for yourself, it's everything. Start seeing it in those terms, and start seeing the fact that you can transform yourself at any moment in time. And don't wait for a diagnosis from a doctor. Don't wait to be in a place where you're being pinched. Right now is the time. Sit down with yourself. Have this conversation. What do I need to do to radically transform? What do I need to do here to get that process going? I promise you it's time worthwhile. Definitely time worthwhile. All right, that's what we have for today. It's simple, easy show. Tomorrow we're going to go talk about a little bit of wisdom, and I'm excited for it. I hope you're going to be here for it. Pinkies up. I appreciate you all. Peace be with you. Bye-bye. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.